Hello everyone, today is 36 days to the count of the Omer. This week's parashot are Behar Bechukotai. We have a double parsha this week. And the Torah tells us about the mitzvah of Shemitah. When we come into Israel, the Torah commands us, 6 years you work the land, and on the 7th year, you let the land rest. This sounds very familiar from another mitzvah that we have like that, which is 6 days a week you work, and on Shabbat, you rest. Now, in those times, when people most of their jobs had to do with agriculture, this is a huge deal, right? Today, when we have Shemitah, which was this past year, it's fairly simple. You have options of bringing things from outside. Most people, their job is not working in agriculture. So on a personal level, it's not that big of a deal. On a national level, on a religious level, there's still a lot of work to be done. But on a personal level, for most of us, it doesn't affect us in the same way that it used to. But in those days, telling people you need to work, you need to take a break on the 7th year, that's a big deal. The Torah promises and says, if you keep the Shemitah, you're not going to lose out on it, because I will give you enough crops on the 6th year that you will cover for the 6th year, the 7th year, and the 8th year. You will be fine. You'll be set. You'll get more from resting on the 7th year than working on the 7th year. We have this also with Shabbat, that the Torah tells us, that if you rest on Shabbat, you don't lose out from it. You only gain from this. We have countless stories of people who were offered different positions on Shabbat, and they didn't answer the phone, or didn't respond to the telegram, or 1,000 and other different things because it was Shabbat, and they always benefit from it time after time after time again. It always pays off to keep Shabbat. It always pays off because God promises that to us. He promises to us that you do not lose out from keeping Shabbat. More so, there's no blessing from any money that is made on Shabbat. You end up losing it somewhere else. It's not ever actually worth it. Therefore, the Torah tells us, keep the Shemitah, keep the Shabbat. We have another thing like this, which has to do with tzedakah, with charity, Tirumot u'masrot, giving 10% of what you make to charity. This is so strong that in the book of Malachi, it even says, God says, test me with this. Test me by giving tzedakah, by giving charity. See what happens. If you give charity, I promise I will open the chimneys of the sky. And it's a way of expressing that God will open up more than we can possibly fathom, more than we'll have, that we'll say enough. I'm swimming with so much good, I'm drowning in it. That's the amount that we get from giving. The Torah tells us, give 10% of what you make to charity. The Torah tells us, keep Shabbat. The Torah tells us, keep Shemitah. All of these, a lot of them stand on the same core, basically saying, understand where your wealth comes from. It doesn't come from the fact of, did you work more, did you work less? It has to do with the relationship you have with God. If you have a relationship with God and God is telling you, you want to know what makes you money? Keeping Shabbat. You want to know what makes you money? Keeping Shemitah, giving charity. These things show you, they show God, they show the world that really the blessing of wealth doesn't come from us, but it comes from God. Shabbat Shalom.